The Today Show's We Love Australia is back. Carl and Lisa and the gang are heading off around our amazing country for their biggest tour yet.
Cheers, old man.
And the adventure kicks off tomorrow. Yes! Plus, Sylvia and Pete say I do. All their wedding celebrations tomorrow, only on Today.
Flood emergency, bodies found in New South Wales and Queensland, with more than 30,000 residents still under evacuation orders.
Rockhampton prepares for the biggest flood to hit central Queensland in a century as a tide of water from Cyclone Debbie flows towards the coast.
City Safety, the plan to install sirens and bollards in Melbourne CBD and a multi-million-dollar upgrade to security.
Survival swimming. We meet the 16-month-old baby who can already paddle herself across a pool all by herself.
Could you feed your family with just $42 of groceries a week? We've got the thrifty mum who can show you how.
What does it take to score a perfect 10? We'll find out when we talk to the surfer who caught this epic wave in Western Australia.
I'll say, will you marry me?
And Pete and Sylvia get married. We've got some of the beautiful pictures from inside their wedding.
Check them out. How great do they look?
Oh, huge congratulations from the Today Show family this morning for the beautiful Sylvia and Pete, married in Kangaroo Valley, and these are the most amazing photos. What a beautiful day.
Fantastic, doesn't it? It is Sunday, the 2nd of April, 2017. Just keep looking at those photos. Good morning to you.
Nice to have some good
Lara.
news,
Morning,
isn't
Wendy.
it? Yeah, good morning,
wonderful.
guys. Yeah, great to wake up with some great news stories.
Absolutely.
Of course, great to wake up with an extra hour of sleep for some parts of the country as well. Check the clock, check your clock, make sure they're all synced up and working together, because that can be an embarrassing day the day after April
Well, that's
Fool's
true,
Day.
that's true. But there is plenty going on this morning. We'll get the very latest news now with Lara. Good morning,
Wendy
Lara.
and Charles, thank you. Of course, another very busy news day this morning. Of course, we begin with the deadly flood disaster left behind in the wake of ex-tropical cyclone Debbie. And we, of course, have reporters in key locations in northern New South Wales and Queensland. First, though, to Tom Steinfort, who leads our coverage and joins us now live from Lismore this morning. Tom, the waters might be easing where you are, but there is still certainly a very long way to go, isn't there?
I want to give you an idea of just how severely inundated this area was. Have a look at this shop here, and this is the same for all the shops along here. I'm a tall guy, about 190 centimetres. I can't even touch that line there where the water peaked at. It was entirely submerged, this whole CBD in Lismore. Now this shop here, let's have a look inside. My cameraman Greg's going to pan around here. And once you look through the door, you'll see just how serious the devastation is. That everywhere in this region along the CBD, there's about 4 streets of shops here, hundreds of shops that literally would have been entirely underwater. Let's take a look through the situation as it stands across the country here this morning. Parts of the northern rivers in New South Wales, they're going to move into recovery phase, as I said, as crews begin to assess the damage. Areas are going to need to be deemed safe before residents are able to return there. We've got major flooding, though, still occurring on the Logan River in Queensland southeast. It's experienced flood levels that they haven't seen since 1974, and there are now fears for 3 people missing in Queensland. Now, as I was saying, we've had tragedy particularly strike in Murwillumbah. That's where Gabby Boyle is for us this morning. Gabby, good morning to you. Yeah, horrible time indeed, Gabby. Thank you for the update. Now, of course, as we know, this is a disaster that is affecting such a vast swathe of Australia. We are in Lismore. Gabby, that we just spoke to, is about an hour north of here at Murwillumbah, but it's spreading up into Brisbane, and then further into the week we are going to be hearing a lot more about Rockhampton, because we're told they're heading for a major flooding disaster there as well. Let's get the very latest on the situation in Queensland this morning with Alex Bernhard, who's at the state's emergency headquarters for us. Alex, what's the latest? Yeah, we can only hope that we get some good news on that front soon. But as you said, so many challenges in so many different places. I just wanted to show you one other thing here in Lismore. You know, things that occur in floods that perhaps you wouldn't even think would be a consequence. Look at this. It almost looks like an earthquake has hit. Another one here, a pothole. And we drove down this road a little earlier on before as well, and it's a scene that is repeated all the way along there too. I would suggest that pretty much every road in the CBD here will have to be replaced. almost every business owner I've spoke to said, we're not insured. We can only hope the government comes in to lend a hand. So look, it is an absolutely dire situation here, but it's amazing to see a bit of the spirit already coming to the fore here, and everyone's starting to come down. A bit of one of those mud armies that we famously saw in Brisbane after the 2011 floods. A lot of people coming down here this morning to lend a hand to their friends and family members that are certainly going to be doing it tough for quite a while after this. That is the very latest from here in Lismore this morning. Now let's have a look at the rest of the day's news. It's over to Lara.
Thank you, Tom. Well, 9 people are in hospital after a balcony collapsed during a house party in Brisbane's southwest. Around 20 people were on the structure at a home in St Lucia when it gave way last night. People are being treated for a range of injuries, including broken legs, but incredibly no one was seriously hurt. Up to 100 people were reportedly at the party. Well, there was, of course, an extra hour's sleep for many across Australia overnight after daylight saving came to an end. Clocks were wound back an hour at 3 this morning in all states besides Queensland, the Northern Territory and Western Australia. And I don't know if you are anything like me, but I kept waking up every hour thinking, oh my goodness, I've slept through my alarm.
The old double check.
I'm just glad you guys are in line with Queensland again. It gets very confusing for me, so thank you. I'm very happy. All right. Still to come for you, we've got your first weekend weather forecast.
Plus your first look at sport as the West Coast Eagles leave it late to sink the Saints in WA. And the Melbourne Storm remain undefeated as Cameron Smith once again etches his name into the history books.
Welcome back. Well, it's the most common virus for Australian babies, with 2,000 contracting it each year, and yet pregnant women hardly know about its existence. So here to tell us more is our medical expert, Dr. Sam. Hey, Dr. Sam, good morning. What is this virus and why is it so dangerous? I have 3 kids. I've got no idea.
When we look at people getting CMV, 90% of people contract it and don't even know they've got it. If you do get symptoms from CMV, it's basically a common cold.
Just want to talk about this new research. Having a cold, of course, we know is never fun, but there's new research out that suggests it's even more miserable for those who feel lonely. Why do you feel worse?
And what they found was that people that didn't have many fulfilling relationships were more likely to suffer worse symptoms. Now, look, it's not rocket science. You know, I think it tells us that, you know, when you're unwell, we get support and love from those people around us.
So be positive. Stay in bed if you're not feeling so good, but maybe phone a friend.
Yeah, good idea.
Thank you, Dr. Sam. Hey, appreciate
Cheers.
it. Over to you, Charlie.
Thank you. We need to study on man flu as well. That's
Yes, I was going to mention that, but I thought it was a touchy subject.
Still to come, we'll have the latest on the unfolding flood emergency in parts of Queensland and New South Wales.
Plus, as the RBA prepares to make a decision this Tuesday, we'll tell you how high interest rates are heading.
Plus, she's known as the First Lady of Australian racing and has trained some of the country's best horses. We take a look at the life of Gay Waterhouse next.
Layla McKinnon and Neil Breen deliver news that's in depth and entertaining. Listen to The Way It Is at 9 Podcasts.
Welcome back to Today. She is Australia's First Lady of Racing, the daughter of legendary horse trainer TJ Smith and the first Australian woman to claim Melbourne Cup victory. It's time now for Person of Interest with CPA's Alex Malley. Alex.
G'day, Charles.
Good morning. Of course, we're talking about Gay Waterhouse and what a powerhouse she's become.
She worked very hard to achieve the goals she has. She's got as much energy, mate, as she had when I met her a long time ago. And there's nothing to stop her. She's an amazing person.
Yeah, fascinating combination, fascinating person. Gay Waterhouse.
Absolutely.
Alex, thank you.
Cheers, mate.
I never knew she was an actress. Things you learn. All right, stay with us. Up next, special coverage live from Queensland and New South Wales as the flood emergency unfolds across both states this morning.
Plus, we'll meet the bright border collies that are about to break a world record for breast cancer. Stay with us.
This will be the first time anyone has loved me.
Beautiful photos of the wedding yesterday. Sylvia and Pete looking absolutely amazing, and it sure is nice to have a little bit of good news waking up this morning on Sunday. But it is a very busy day. Let's go straight to Tom Steinfort in the flood zone in Lismore. Good morning again, Tom. Tom, thank you very much. To the rest of the day's news now, and a man is under police guard in hospital this morning after leaving a trail of destruction in a stolen car through Melbourne overnight. For more, let's go to our reporter Melanie Slade at the scene in South Bank. Mel, good morning. How did it all unfold? All right, Mel, thank you. 9 people are in hospital after a balcony collapsed during a house party in Brisbane's southwest. Around 20 people were on the structure at a home in St Lucia when it gave way last night. People are being treated for a range of injuries, including broken legs, but incredibly, no one was seriously hurt.
Melbourne will be getting a $10 million security upgrade in the wake of the Bourke Street tragedy, which left 6 people dead. A new siren system will see speakers installed to alert of looming terror attacks or other threats to public safety. CCTV upgrades and pop-up bollards preventing cars from entering CBD streets have also been requested. And these cars came in all shapes and sizes, but only one colour, yellow. Hundreds of motoring enthusiasts descending on an English village in defence of a pensioner whose car had been vandalised because of its colour. How odd. The 84-year-old found his yellow hatchback with its windows smashed in after locals called it an eyesore. The canary yellow cavalry arrived to show support and raise money for charity. Don't you love a bit of people power?
Why not?
If you like yellow, be out and proud about it. There's nothing wrong with a yellow car. I don't
100%.
personally drive a yellow car, but
Pop-up lights, it all works.
Yeah. People power, as you say. Well, coming up on today, the incredible moment a toddler swims the length of a pool unassisted, no help at all. She's just 16 months old. So we're going to find out how she learnt to do it. We're going to catch up with her and her dad. I am in absolute awe. That's coming up very shortly. First, though, Sunday Sport with Charlie.
From one future sports star to our current ones, we'll start with AFL and some clutch goal kicking from West Coast star Josh Kennedy. We'll go to Super G netball, and the Giants have lifted to a come-from-behind 59-56 win over local rivals, the New South Wales Swifts. It's time for weather now with Lara.
Actually,
I'm going to throw it over to Wendy.
oh, I love this. Who
does
can
the
I
weather
throw it
for
to?
you.
Do you actually want to do it?
No, I'll give it to you.
I might take it away. Good morning to you, Brisbane. Partly cloudy with a top temperature of 28 degrees for you. And Darwin, a possible shower or storm, 33 degrees.
I suppose now it's time for Lara, yeah.
We're going to go to Lara.
Well, we love our weather with Wendy, but on Tuesday the RBA will decide if the official interest rate should hold, rise or fall. But forecasters are saying the banks will continue to bump up their rates regardless. So here to tell us how he thinks 2017 will play out is AMP's chief economist Shane Oliver. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So Shane, if you're a betting man, how do you see it playing out next Tuesday?
Basically no change.
Shane Oliver from AMP, thank you very much.
My pleasure, thank you.
Over to you, Charles and Wendy.
Thank you, Lara. We're just making history, bro. These are the words.
Nice.
It's very casual. They're the words of champion surfer Sebastian Zeitz just moments after he scored the first ever 10-point ride at Margaret River's North Point Break for the World Surf League's Margaret River Pro.
Impressive. It was absolutely amazing to watch. So let's take a look at how commentators reacted just after it happened.
Look at him. That's the best 10 ever.
Laughing like they can't actually believe it happens. And Sebastian joins us now live from Margaret River. Good morning to you. How does it make you feel to see that and to make history, as you say?
Felt really good, you know. I was just really happy to get that wave, and you guys should actually play the live version of Pete Mel commentating that wave because it's pretty funny.
Yeah, we'll try and get the long version up a bit later then. Sounds good. Some have called it the most perfect 10 ever. Wow. It's a very big call. I mean, have you seen a better 10?
Yeah, I've definitely seen better 10s. I think in the moment he is a little bit overwhelmed and kind of surprised that I made it, and I think the cameraman kind of helped.
Well, you've got a heat coming up, a big day of surfing, and maybe some perfect 10s still up your sleeve. Thanks so much for joining us, Sebastian. Best of luck today.
Right on. Thanks, guys.
Right on.
Right on.
Right
Look
on.
at that. Love it.
Great. Well, up next, we'll have all the latest live from the flood zones in Queensland and New South Wales with special coverage of the unfolding emergency.
Plus this morning, could you feed your family on just $42 a week? Well, we're going to speak to the Melbourne mum who does exactly that.
And that is a very, very long way down. Well, we meet the man behind this nail-biting viral video. You don't want to miss that. It's all coming up on Today.
I'll say, will you?
Of the day, the best news of the day we're sharing with you this morning, the wedding photos of Peter Stephanie and Sylvia Jeffries. Absolutely stunning. This all happened yesterday at Kangaroo Valley, just a couple of hours away from Sydney, and how happy do they look?
Happy and it's beautiful as well.
And why wouldn't you be happy if you were Pete Stefanovic?
This is true
Jeez.
too. This is true.
Absolutely amazing. More of those photos to come. And
Good morning to all the gang down there as well. We know you'd be watching.
I don't know if they would be.
They'll be awake and watching.
If you say so, Charlie. Plenty more to come for you still on today's show. Could you feed your family with just $42 worth of groceries a week? We're going to show you how to do that. And we're going to meet the bright Border Collies who are about to break a world record for breast cancer. Right now, though, it's time for the very latest on the flood emergency. Tom is on location for us with our special coverage in Lismore. Tom.
Yeah, good morning to you, Wendy. Look, I thought I'd bring you down and give you a bit of an idea of just how much the floodwaters have receded here in Lismore. We know thousands of houses underwater and also hundreds of businesses. You might remember some of the viewers, if they were tuning in about this time yesterday, this intersection here, we came through this in a boat. It was about 2 metres deep, the water, and you could see submerged cars and also the traffic lights almost underwater, all of the street signs. That business over the other side of the road as well was pretty much completely underwater. This morning, all that flood water has gone. And what it is now is just one massive clean-up. This is the centre of this flood crisis right here in Lismore. Of course, it's affecting huge parts of the nation. We can see people having to wheel out all their belongings here that are just completely done. Sorry, mate, I know you're in the middle of your clean-up there. Can you just give us an idea? It must be a total mess having to deal with all of this.
It is, yeah. It's a bit hard. There's so much stuff everywhere to clean up.
Oh, it's an amazing spirit to have. Good luck with the clean-up, mate. Appreciate you having a quick word with us. And as I said, this is something not just affecting Lismore, but huge parts of New South Wales and Queensland. Let's have a closer look at what's happening in New South Wales right now. Joining us is the Acting Deputy Commissioner, Mark Morrow, from the SES. Mark, good morning to you. What's the focus for your teams today? Power of work being done by the SES. We've seen them on the ground here doing a fantastic job, and the police and fire services here as well, chipping in, everyone lending a hand. Appreciate your time this morning. Let's turn to Queensland now, because as we said, it seems to be more of a clean-up focus in New South Wales, but for Queensland, well, in certain parts it's set to get a hell of a lot worse, particularly Rockhampton, where they fear that thousands of homes could be going under. In Logan, they've had record water levels there, highest since 1974 too. That's where Claire Hunter is for us. Claire, what's the latest where you are?
And I'm joined by David, who is in the area. He's helping his friends clean up one of their properties. How are you, David? How's the process going so far?
Yeah, so what we've done, we've just been moving the bags so that the water around the front of the property can get around the back.
A massive day here still. We're still waiting for all of that water to come down before people can really get in and start cleaning, and then we'll get a true idea about what kind of cost this flood has caused for the Logan community.
All right, Claire Hunter with the latest there from Queensland. Thank you. Stay with us. We have continuing special coverage of this widespread flood crisis here on the Today Show. But for the rest of the day's news now, let's head back to Lara.
Tom, thank you. A man is under police guard in hospital after allegedly leaving a trail of destruction through Melbourne in a stolen car. Officers intercepted a white Holden Commodore in South Bank before it took off and sideswiped a vehicle. The driver fled the collision and continued to speed off before crashing into several parked cars and a van. At this stage, no charges have been laid. Shocking footage has emerged of the frightening moments leading up to a fatal car crash in the United States. A concerned driver in Texas filmed the white pickup truck swerving in and out of traffic just minutes before it crashed into a church bus, killing 13 people. Witnesses have since claimed the driver was texting behind the wheel.
Well, immunity is the words on everyone's lips in Washington, with Donald Trump's former national security advisor offering to be questioned over the Trump campaign's ties to Russia if he can do so without being prosecuted. The potentially explosive evidence could be hugely damaging. For more, I'm joined now by global affairs expert Professor Joe Siracusa. Joe, good morning to you. Mike Flynn was fired by Donald Trump. He's not likely to hold back, is he?
No, he's not. Michael Flynn has got a big story to tell, and I don't think anyone in Washington, anyone in the White House is going to like to hear it.
And we're only 3 months in. Joe Siracusa,
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you.
Wendy.
Speaking what we're all probably thinking at home. Thank you, Charles. Well, still to come for you, this incredible toddler swims an entire pool unassisted. She is just 16 months old, so we're going to catch up with her and her dad. We'll have more on that story a little later in the show. Now, though, sports headlines, it's over to Charles.
Thank you, Wendy. AFL and West Coast left it late to finish off the Saints, coming from 25 points down in the first term to claim a 19-point victory. Weather now, here's Wendy.
Thank you, Charlie. Let's see what's happening today in your backyard. Starting off in Queensland, in Cairns, a late shower or two, reaching 32 degrees. And to the Northern Territory, finally, a possible shower or storm in Darwin today, reaching 33. Alice Springs should be sunny and 28 degrees. We always get there in the end. Well, one of the biggest burdens on the family budget is buying groceries.
But what if we told you our next guest feeds her family of 4 dinner for around $42 a week?
I want to hear this. Is what she's excited. I'm excited. And joining us now, because I've got 5 in my family, so feeding 4 for that amount is amazing. Thank you for your time. I can't even speak about this. I'm so amazed. How is it possible?
It's possible just by having a plan.
I love it, I love it, I love it. And 4 hours in the kitchen once a month.
Once a month.
You're speaking my language. Thank you for joining us this morning. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you.
Good stuff. All right, a warning, a big warning. Anyone afraid of heights, just kind of cover your eyes just a little bit, but still watch, OK?
This nail-biting trip captured by 2 British mountaineers in the Himalayas shows what it must be like on the most dangerous road on Earth.
I've not considered these doors may not be that secure.
Joining us now is the man who took this video and obviously lived to tell the tale, mountaineer Mick Fowler. Mick, welcome. Was it as terrifying as it looks?
Yes.
You are far more brave than I think any of us here. Congratulations.
Or perhaps stupid.
Oh, well, thank you very much for your time this morning. Appreciate you coming in. All right, let's get the very latest news now from Lara.
Wendy, thank you. Let's start with some breaking news out of Sydney now, where controversial former Deputy Mayor Salim Mahaja has been arrested by police. 9 News reporter Fiona Willan joins us now from the newsroom with the details. Fiona, talk us through what happened.
Yeah, Lara, we've just learned that Salim Mahaja has been arrested over an alleged altercation with a taxi driver. Apparently it happened at the Star Casino in the early hours of this morning.
Fiona Willan with that breaking news from Sydney, thank you. Well, now to the deadly flood disaster left behind in the aftermath of ex-tropical cyclone Debbie. As some devastated communities shift to recovery mode, others are still on alert. We, of course, have reporters in key locations in northern New South Wales and Queensland. First, though, we'll go to Tom Steinfort, who leads our coverage in Lismore this morning. Tom, just some pretty heartbreaking scenes where you are.
Joined by Robert over here. Robert, you were telling us you've been here 40 years. It's the worst flood you've ever seen in Lismore.
Yes, worst one I've been here. All the neighbours, Jeffrey's son and all the neighbours, got a good neighbourhood here. We all chipped in and moved all his planers and spindles and things, and yeah, got him there so he could sleep a little bit better before it came in.
Yeah, you've saved the day for him down there. It's great work. Well done on getting involved in that. And over here, that's the stuff that they helped pull out of the house, which they're now starting to load back in. A real sense of the fact that, you know, these are such tough times here, but gee, it brings out the best in these communities. So we're all chipping in now. You get these mud armies like we did after the Brisbane floods in 2011, chipping in, working together and making sure that everyone gets back on their feet and helping out their neighbours as much as they can.
Yeah, it is great to see Tom Steinfort reporting there from Lismore. Thank you for that. To other news now, 9 people are in hospital this morning after a balcony collapsed during a house party in Brisbane's southwest. Around 20 people were on the structure at a home in St Lucia when it gave way last night. People are being treated for a range of injuries, including broken legs, but incredibly, no one was seriously hurt. And something a little bit different for you this morning, bare skin and freezing temperatures. Well, they aren't generally a good combination, not generally, but these skiers wore nothing but their bikinis and their budgie smugglers to race down the slopes on top of a snowy mountain. Nearly 1,200 Russians. Of course it's Russian. Yeah, they braved the cold. Brave, very, very brave. Jeez, we've had a lot of brave people on this show this morning. Well, coming up for you on Today, we're going to meet the bright border collies that are about to break a world record. They'll be attempting a canine conga. Geez, it just gets better this morning. It's all for a good cause. You won't want to miss it. It's coming up very shortly on Today. Beat that, Charlie. What's coming up in sport?
How do you top the miniature ponies for last night? You do that?
You do a conga.
Let's go with AFL and West Coast have avoided the major upset at home. Star forward Josh Kennedy kicking 3 late goals to deliver the Eagles a 19-point victory over St Kilda. West Coast trailed at every change. Time now for the weather. Here's Wendy.
Thank you, Charlie. Let's start off in Brisbane. A partly cloudy day on the way, a maximum of 28 degrees. Gold Coast, a possible shower or two. We're expecting 27 there. Alice Springs, sunny for you as well, 28 degrees. And in Darwin, a possible shower or storm, 33 degrees, Charles.
Wendy, thank you. Up next on Today, the 16-month-old who can already paddle across a pool. We learn more about the swimming survival classes behind this viral video. Welcome back. Well, a New South Wales woman is giving the gift of life to Australian families by donating her eggs, enduring injections and surgery to help people she doesn't even know.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. The mum of two has donated 22 viable eggs to IVF Australia in the last 2 years alone.
Time now for the Sunday Jury. Joining us is Shell-Shocked Media's Shelley Horton.
Hello.
Welcome. And author Peter Fitzsimons. Welcome, Pete.
Nice to be here.
Shelley, egg donors in the US can earn up to $20,000. So this lady's giving hers away.
This woman is an earth angel. So women like these should be praised.
It's very interesting that how little we know of it. I mean, we always hear about men having happy time. I like that felicitous phrase. But that's part of the public culture that you can donate sperm.
Couldn't agree with you more. All right, let's move on. Oh, gee whiz. Hot-headed tennis star Nick Kyrgios. He's back in the headlines this morning, and this time he's basically lashed out at taunting spectators. Have a look at this.
Turn off the radio. Shelley, had a bit to do with the Kyrgios family, being Canberra people. His temper's clearly got the better of him here, but it was a pretty tough situation.
I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I'm Team Nick on this one.
Nick Kyrgios is like lecturing the crowd on how to behave, is like a drunk in a bar saying, stop drinking, will you stop drinking? He needs to open a can of shut the hell up and gorge himself.
But don't you agree, though, that it's poor sportsmanship on the part of the crowd?
Paying I do, but I think the last person...
It's like, hey,
me lecturing people, stop wearing strange headwear. What are you doing? I mean, what are you doing?
Our very own Sylvia Jeffries and Peter Stefanovic got hitched. Pete, wonderful wedding. You were there?
I think my missus's Instagram page has gone viral or something or other.
Wow.
But there was so much love, and you know, we've had this horrible 3 weeks of rain.
There you go.
Just
Look at that.
There you go. deluge rain, and it suddenly comes good for the day. I cannot overstate the joy of it, and the wonderful stories, and them meeting in the car park. Have you had any sparks with anybody?
Not at the Channel 9 car park yet. Yet.
You need to come up from Canberra more often, you know.
Seriously.
You never know, love might be here.
Channel 9, where love happens.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Talk about the dress.
Oh, beautiful. We'll be here for hours if we talk
My
about
missus
that
went
dress.
Instagram crazy.
We'll be here for hours, but stay with us. Be back with more after the break.
Oh, beautiful.
A quick recap now on the flood situation. As flood-affected communities shift to recovery mode, Queensland authorities are turning their attention to the unfolding emergency in Rockhampton as well. Major flooding is on its way, with the potential for the Fitzroy River to peak at a level not seen since 1954. Additional crews have already been deployed to the area.
We wish them all the best.
Absolutely.
Next in conversation is a conversation with Alex Malley, then Sports Sunday with Peter Fitzsimons, but thank you both for looking after me.
Yeah, great weekend. We'll be back next weekend, and yeah, huge congratulations again to Pete and Sylvia.
Woo,
absolutely. And to Charlie, the conga lines in the car park after that call out to Australia. Goodbye.
Enjoy your weekend.
See ya.